Tervehdys ja tervetuloa Raudan pariin. That is, welcome and welcome to Rauta. Now we're talking about, obviously, Finnish black metal with a band called Förgjord. Band that started already in 1995 and has since released quite a few releases, full lengths and split and mini releases included. Now, since their 2008 debut album, the band has pretty much been going on with full length and then some split or mini release, then another full length and so on. And as it is, this year 2019 is actually one of those years that the band has released 2 releases in the same year, and this is following the latest full length album that already came out earlier this year. Now this one is so-called, I don't know how to translate it, but let's call it intermezzo in a way, because this is actually a 4-track MCD, self-financed, and it's pretty much the same idea that was going on in 2018, October I think, when the band did their earlier MCD, Mors Fenikone, which was already reviewed as well. That was about Finnish tragedies, killings and whatnot, and also had a movie cover song, which is the thing here as well. Now let's start taking a look on this MCD. As you can see, very minimal design. All these are basically in Finnish, except for these cover songs' original titles. This one is Impel Nazarene cover, and this one is by Clint Mansell, who is a famous movie soundtrack creator, composer, and he's been covered here with song from the movie Requiem for a Dream, I guess. And I was contemplating whether or not I remember it correctly, but let's call it that. If I made a mistake, feel free to correct me later on. As you can see, that is an instrumental track, which kind of makes sense as the original song doesn't have any lyrics, but the other lyrics are here. So Finnish for the tracks that are their own, and then we have this cover song by Impel Nazarene mentioned here. And the story of the album goes in Finnish, as you can pretty much figure out. This is basically saying that in 2019 this was recorded at Pieksämäki and Varkaus, and then these cover songs. And here is basically the story, which is about all about sins and how we make mistakes, and some of those mistakes cannot be undone and all that stuff. I won't be translating the whole story to you. Feel free to figure it out on your own or ask the band themselves. We're here to talk about the music. So what is Förgjord's music? Well, it's raw black metal. It's primitive, and at the same time it's also melodic, and one could even say catchy. If you are familiar with the previous works of the band, then you pretty much know what to expect from this MCD, and that goes both in good and bad. Now obviously Förgjord's music is not for everybody because it's so raw, it's unpolished, and it's just vicious, like itching skin, like rust. But then again, once you start to kind of appreciate that kind of a weird itching rash or something, that feeling that makes you kind of a tick, then you're really in for a treat, because this one is a nice release. Nice might sound weird selection of word for this kind of music, but I think it's quite fitting because, like I said, it's also catchy, but it's then again also very primal energy put into form of black metal. And one could in some ways compare this to earlier Dark Throne, when things were really raw and kind of a dirty, but at the same time one could even say that this is a reminiscent of Satanic Warmaster's melodic raw output. Yet still neither of those bands actually sound like what Förgjord is all about, so it's not your typical black metal in any of those ways, and that is one of these strengths that is very much present on this MCD as well. So I would say this is probably a little bit better, or at least the very same level that the previous full-length album, but I wouldn't say this is as good as the one that came out in 2018. But for fans of the band, this is obviously a must get released. Released by the band themselves. This is obviously available through them only, as far as I'm concerned anyway. I don't know if this will be sent to some distros later on. So be sure to check out the band's Facebook page. And if you don't have a Facebook access, too bad for you, because for the time being there is no other information or page related to the band. So you have to ask for your friend's help or then submit to Facebook. I don't know. That's up to you. But anyway, totally recommending this album for the fans of raw, primeval, melodic black metal. So there you have it. I'm not sure if there are any samples online. I haven't really figured out if they are on YouTube or not with these songs. But as the underground thing goes, be sure to check out recommendations from other people if you don't trust my word. Anyway, be sure to check out Förgjord. Dig.